Hi guys, today I am changing up my scenery a little bit. Just wanted to sit here and talk over the different points that I was making in regards to all of the different ways where you get to make your daily outfits and how your daily outfits change your future. And it's one way where we can really be in the driver's seat of our own lives. There's so much to style where we make these kind of subconscious decisions about ourselves and what's comfortable and practical for our lives, and also what we want to look like and what we want to be seen as. And there's just so much to it, but there's so much more even where we have the ability to direct that path and be really just intentional of thinking who you want to be and showing up as her. So here I've got my 5 different points. I've got my notes to go off of here, and we're just going to have sort of a chatty like girl talk here about how your daily outfits determine these things. Whether you mean to or not, your clothing is going to say something about yourself to the world. And that could be something where you're intentional about it or not. Regardless, even if you're like, I don't care what people think, I'm just gonna dress how I want to, it will still communicate things because clothing is communication. It's like its own language. And as you build out your outfits, you are saying what you might have in common with somebody else. And that has created so many wonderful friendships for me as I've kind of gone through this path of exploring my personal style over the years. And it's also going to probably make some people mad too. If you are dressing a certain way, it might be seen as an outlier. And some people have told me how completely uncomfortable they are with being an outlier or dressing in a way that their society would be considered like out there style, like, outlandish style. And so it's really important to just be intentional and in the driver's seat of that decision as well. There are so many quotes that I love about this topic in particular. I could make a whole video on just this, but I've got a few that I really love. The first is by Mary Brooks Picken. She said, "Do we not express ourselves through our clothes that we wear as much as what we say and what we do?" So it's so true because what I might say or do is the same as it's as expressive, I would say, as what I'm wearing. And that can go hand in hand. So if I'm required for work to wear a white button-down shirt, which ironically I'm wearing right now, there's a lot of things that it could say about me. Let's say I'm wearing just a really basic white button-down shirt and I roll the sleeves up and I like unbutton a little bit. That might look a lot more casual and hardworking than if I were to iron it and like make it perfect and button all the way to the top. That's gonna look tidy and kind of formal. And it's gonna look really clean and professional. Then again, if I had not like washed my shirt in time for my meeting and I just like pulled it out of, the dirty clothes bin or something and like put it on and it's wrinkled and stuff, that's gonna speak totally a different language about who I am and about the things I care about or how organized I am or whatever else. And it's all just the same shirt. So by how we wear something and also what we're wearing, that's going to determine what our clothes say about us, whether we mean to or not. Another quote I love by Dress Codes, amazing book by the way. "Fashion is a way of communicating ideas, values, aspirations through clothes." So through our attire, we announce who we are and what we care about and where we belong or aspire to belong in society. So that just means that we have dreams for ourselves. We can create dreams for ourselves and where we want to go in the future just by the clothes that we wear. When I was wearing, pajamas this morning, I really was not looking forward to like getting dressed and like doing my normal life things. So it's one of those things where my attitude shifts when I put on clothes. And so one thing I know about myself is that I personally need to get ready. I need to get in the habit of being a little bit more disciplined than I might want to be, because I like art and I like to do creative things. But if I don't have my routine and my structure in place, then I just seem to have this like just these needs to be able to be healthy in the things that I do and in my goals. So how I dress is really just a life hack for me because it allows me the ability to show up for who I want to be or what I want to accomplish that day. So if I needed to make sure that I worked out, then the first thing I should do is put on workout clothes because I know eventually I will get there, I will work out, and I'm already dressed for that activity. I don't have to then go and put on workout clothes and then work out. That's even more on my to-do list that would stop me from doing that one thing. And today I'm not dressed in pajamas, right? And so I'm able to set myself up for a work activity or hanging out with people versus what I'd wear to do chores around my house. So your clothing is going to determine a lot about what you decide to do in your day. The quote I have about this tip is from the book, The Psychology of Fashion. Clothing manages mood and it helps you feel better about yourself. Routine really helps you get ready, like I was saying before, and it can really prevent that feeling of having, a rut or feeling depression. Now, I believe that depression is something clinical that could use some help by a professional, and I don't want to get in the way of that at all. I just know that when I have felt either sad or depressed, the act of putting on clothes and looking nice for my day does alter my mood. And so that is just one way where I can just feel better about myself and accomplish the things that I want to. I set really high dreams and goals for myself, and so the act of sort of stepping up to the plate for that through my clothing is a way of not only self-love, but it's kind of like a telling yourself that you've got this, if that makes sense at all. So the way that I would wear something like a loose tunic would be different than how I would wear a button-down or a tight dress. There's a mood and a way to communicate body language around what you're wearing. So if you can sit and stand straight up and down in something, if it kind of makes you sit upright, well, that's going to be a much different way of presenting yourself than something else. I know one time I wore a leather jacket to a meeting, and I think it looked a little bit more devil-may-care than I was intending for it to, but it sort of structured my body to be a little bit that way too. So it made me sort of act in a way that matched my wardrobe, and that really changed the outcome of my meeting. If I had dressed more, I don't want to say agreeable, but professional or presentable in that scenario specifically, then I would have presented myself differently and communicated different things about myself, like I was saying in the first tip. For this, there's a really good article that I will link down in the description by Inc. It says, so choose your personal presentation with care. Presentation not only includes clothes, but your accessories, hairstyle, fragrance, posture, body language, tone of voice, and the level of energy in which you move and speak. So think of the person that you need to be in any particular situation, then dress, groom, accessorize in a way that helps you mentally step into that personality. And that is so interesting because I think that we naturally think that we're in charge of, we've got it all figured out of our personality and who we are and who we say we are and that confidence of that. But there's just this really interesting way in which we have this body language that then tells our brain how to act. So if our clothes then determine our body language, it's like clothing, then body language, then how we act. And we think it's the reverse, but it really isn't. And I just find that so fascinating that there's so much more to us than we even realize. So when you buy clothes, you're not buying it to wear in this moment unless you physically go to the store and put the clothes on and then never wear them again. So that's not really what I advise. I've got a whole course on personal style and how to build your wardrobe to match it. And so I like the idea of how building a daily outfit eventually becomes who I want to dress like. And it makes me more secure too in what I want to explore and express to the world. for a year, I posted every outfit that I wore, day by day. And what ended up happening is, day one, I felt like I was really out there with my style, and I really wasn't. 365 days after, I felt like my first outfit was more meek than my last outfit. And so that's a way where I've been able to slowly create room for my personal expression in a way that I would not have been comfortable doing before. I would have been more eaten alive by what people would think and what they might say or whatever else. And that is so unnecessary, because you're allowed to take up space and you're allowed to look the way that you want to. And through that, we can express ourselves. And the more that you make this part of your routine, it's never going to feel uncomfortable in any room you walk in. I think that there's so many memories out there that we collect, and we have these familiarities that we have attached to physical objects for no apparent reason at all. And so one thing that I love is there is one jean jacket that I have, and the buttons on it, when I first saw them, I was like, this is something I have familiar to me and I can't really place it, but I feel like as a 90s kid, at some point I wore these buttons. And it's not something that was kiddie, but it was something that was special to me. Like, I had this scrapbook and I just was able to grab some buttons out of there and put it on my clothes. Of course, that didn't happen. It was straight out of the box, and it was something familiar to me. And so now that's a memory I get to collect and keep with me into my future. And that's one thing that you can know about yourself, is that even through something like clothing, you get to decide what memories that you bring into your future self. With that said, if you haven't joined my waitlist for my personal style course, I'll leave a link down in the description for that. And I'm going to release that in probably the next couple months. And so you'll just be the first to know if you're on that waitlist. And with that, my goal today is really just to show you the different ways where you can start showing up as the person that you always intended to, and be so happy when in your future you can look back and feel so proud. So if you like this sort of video, then definitely let me know by just giving this video a thumbs up. That's really important to just sort of guiding which video style that you like and what you like to hear about. And you can also leave in the comments anything that comes to mind for you of how your daily outfits have shaped your life already. And with that, I will see you guys next time.